if you come to Africa and become a victim, it's the worst, death by 1,000 cuts.
You mean by victim mentally or by actual you're victimized?
Victimized mentally, however it is.
There's this idea that Shaolin Kung Fu, the monks would reach a certain level and they would try and find masters and other types of fighters and, see where, is there anything in their fighting style that they can learn from whatever? And then they bring it back to Shaolin and they incorporate it in their curriculum so that they stay evolving, they stay growing. I don't see that attitude here.
No.
I just hear, this is Africa. You can go back to your country.
This is Uganda.
This is Uganda. This is and it's like, that's not a growth mindset. And are we happy with being the bottom of the economic totem pole in the globe?
Hi guys, welcome to Kenganda. My name is Janita Maya and this is the Repat Podcast. And on today's episode, we are joined by TJ, a YouTuber, a businessman passionate about AI, by the way, and he has been in Uganda for 1.5 years, right? And on the other end, I have the big man himself, Mr. O'Shea Duke Jackson. You're welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. So please take this one.
So TJ, I think you're on maybe earlier on last year?
About a year ago, yes.
Okay. So I think we want to do, you learned a lot about, living in Uganda, doing business in Uganda, believing what you can do when you first get here, and then how things really are. And so for people that are looking to come here, take us through maybe what you thought about things were going to be when you first got here, like in business. Let's start there. And then we can kind of go from there.
Well, first I'll say, I'm living my dream.
Okay.
And I want to just...
What was your dream?
Just to live life on my own terms, not be tied down to a location, a job, be able to have the freedom to make the decisions of whatever I wanted to do anytime I want to do it.
Okay.
Right? I went on quite a discovery journey. I tried to go around Africa. I was working remotely, and that was based off the fact that pandemic was a remote situation, and I had some corporate contracts and things that I was able to utilize and move around. And I wanted to be able to build businesses, do things myself, and just see more than the UK. On top of that, I have a belief that the West in general and UK has peaked.
Okay.
And the things that I would say look shiny and all that glitters isn't gold over there. So what else does the world have to offer? I have this African heritage. I have, let me go and see and explore. Maybe I'll meet a partner. Maybe I will find a business, et cetera, et cetera.
And by the way, your dad's Nigerian. Your mom's British.
My dad's Nigerian. Spent some of my early life in Nigeria. Okay. Moved to the UK, but I'm very UK adapted. I'm not that Nigerian, right? Although I'm familiar with the culture and I have family, etc., etc. So I think I came to Uganda. I met my partner Medina, and I decided to commit to Uganda. I had an idea of doing a business, and I've been through a lot of difficulty trying to execute that business, trying to understand the place. If you go back to the original podcast, I had these great big goals and dreams and aspirations. I think nothing wrong with that. Very humbling experience a year on.
Yeah. For those who haven't watched the previous podcast that you were on, by the way, I hope it's showing up somewhere. What dreams did you have then that you feel like you've not achieved now? Yeah.
I don't know about not achieving because I don't know about not achieving. I see it like you're going to attempt something and that thing may fail or may succeed, but you're on a path. So my goal is to be sort of self-sufficient in Africa, make money in Africa if I can, employ people, and have a successful relationship. So that path is ongoing and there's no failure there, even if I've stumbled in this business or that or whatever on the way.
Okay.
Now, I had an understanding. I think I had business acumen from the UK. It doesn't map very well here. Some things are universal.
Yes.
But really understanding local information, local way of life, local way of business.
So let me ask you, what are some things that you said some things carry over or some things are...
Yes.
Like, what are those things?
Integrity is always going to be something that you want to hold, be a person of your word, do what you say you're going to do, be reliable, all of those kinds of things. Those things mix into business. Plan to produce good product. Learn from your failures. Whenever you start a business or you're involved in business, you're going to have to be uncomfortable with uncertainty. I don't know how these next few months may pan out, but I'm going to deal with the demons in my mind telling me, it might not work or whatever. These things are universal things you're going to have to handle in any business. Then you have the local stuff. What is the local market asking for? So I thought I knew much more about what the local market is asking for. So I still have a shoe business. We were taking shoes. We had a small factory set up. We were customizing those shoes with African designs. Let's say a year on, the energy, effort, and finance to do those customizations has dropped 90%. That's just learning efficiency, learning how to be better, understanding what the market wants, those types of things. But if I was to do it again, I wouldn't even start that business.
Okay.
Oh.
Right? I would do a business that is recurring revenue business. Right? So every month my customer wants to come back, or every week my customer wants to come back. I don't need to find a customer every day, once at a time, right? This is not to say that kind of business doesn't work, a non-recurring business, but if you want to give yourself the best chance, that's the kind of business you want. Then I would have a business that services other businesses rather than a business that is to customer, to the end consumer. So you want a recurring business that helps other businesses make money, whatever that could be. So our friend Steve has an ice business. I love his business. I would have never thought to set up a business like that. Ice, you can't make money from ice, whatever. But every day ice melts and the customer has to buy every day. Right? And then all of his customers are people that sell meat. Right? Who maybe previously didn't even have ice. So they're able to keep their stock longer, which means his business is integral to their business making money. So there you've got, you find one customer, that customer, you don't lose that customer when another customer comes along. It compounds, right? So you just have to find a certain number of magic number of customers, service them, and then everything after that is just growth and building. So, I didn't understand that. Then dealing with import, I was importing a lot of stuff. I had so much problems, frustrations, delays, just getting the supplies I wanted, getting the shoes I wanted, getting the things I wanted. So I would rather find things that are already on ground here that I can create or sell here. Shoes in Uganda are essentially a luxury. So a small group of people are going to buy them because they want to, but most people are buying things they need. So if I was to start a business again, it would be targeted at things people have to have. I know that it's not around anymore, but at one point I understood that people were trading in mobile data. That's something that everyone has to have. So I would look to be getting into businesses that are absolute necessities. In the UK, you don't necessarily have to think that way. Right. Because there's people that have enough additional income to spend on things they want more than just the bare necessities. Right. But here, a lot less people are in that position. Yes. So these are kinds of things, which then leads me to this new situation where I was like, the effort I'm putting in to make this business a success, which is considerable financially, emotionally, everything. Yeah. Pressure, all of that. That effort could be directed into something which I'm already totally comfortable with. Right. Which is like my online stuff, my digital career, these types of things. And then in those career, I'm getting paid in dollars and pounds, which just goes so much further here.
Yeah.
So the question is, was I being so romantic about opening like an African business? And
romanticize the dream.
Right. My goal was to be, self-sufficient, have a successful relationship, have whatever. Was I being, romantic about this dream of having an African business?
Yeah.
Right. No one's buying off me cares about the romance. None of my suppliers, they want me to bend over 3 ways and, come and kiss the feet sometimes, do all this stuff. No one cares. Sharks out there.
Right.
So over that year, I just started transitioning to just focus more on my digital business.
Yes.
And that other business is still going. Medina had a business already. I just kind of injected or, directed more for her business and incorporated my products with her business. So Medina's my partner, by the way.
Shout out to Medina.
Shout out to Medina. So she's able to keep that kind of more ticking. I can advise a little bit. I can, of course, help where I can. And then the majority of my time now is spent on my digital business, which, one small deal can make a lot more money in less effort.
It's something you already know. Let me ask you this because, as you know, I am the rant king and I'm very petty and sometimes moody.
Yeah.
But you're not like, you're completely different from me in that respect. Maybe behind closed doors, but you're always the same guy. Since I met you, you don't have a bad day. You're very methodical. You're very calm. You might have a bad day. You might have killed somebody. I don't know. But you're always in control of your emotions and feelings. Where I'm not always like that. It's easy when you have a dream to do something like that's here, and it doesn't work out, and you really are a kind-hearted person like you, and you can take it personal, and you've never took it personal. You just adjust it. But so many people from the diaspora, I mean, like the non-Ugandan diaspora, maybe Black, British, African Americans, some Caribbeans, we can sometimes take it personal, and then like fall out with the place that we've come to because we've had a bad experience. How did you maintain your frame and not do that like so many people do?
I don't think I did maintain. I think you're just giving me credit, but honestly, behind this, like probably my first true panic attack happened in Uganda.
Oh,
right. Cool. Like, is this a panic attack? Like this kind of worry, intense pressure. Did I make a big mistake?
Yeah.
You're dealing with those thoughts. Then I'm dealing with things like, it's only just now I don't like lose my temper. This is behind closed doors, personal stuff. But when the power goes out, I've woken up in the morning. I'm on game. I've got this to do. Open my laptop, work for 5 minutes, power gone, internet down.
Yeah.
And it's derailed my day.
Yes.
I had a deadline. Right? If I need to fix this, I have to now spend money.
Right.
Or whatever. And I can get irate. Now, maybe I don't express that, in front of you guys or whatever.
Yeah.
But I know what I'm going through. Sometimes, unfortunately, Medina hears my frustrations, sees my frustrations.
Yeah.
Or sometimes she'll say, you're snapping at me. The power's gone. Relax. Accept it. So there are demons you will confront and face, and this is not for everybody. And a lot of self-talk, internal reflection, trying to, the advice I would give someone, I try to give myself to get myself out of funks and negative stuff. So I think I just cope the best I can.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm very special in that regard.
Yeah. Well, I think that's something that we can all learn from you, and our viewers can learn. We have a saying in Uganda. It says that Uganda can humble you. Do you feel like that's what has happened to you?
Uganda can humble you for sure, but it's not exclusive to Uganda. If you're going to pursue something that you think is great, that journey will humble you. The reason we like these amazing movies with a hero's journey is because that journey, he goes down into the valley and he's humbled. He's It almost doesn't work out, and he has to gather himself and come back. You know, the choices are stay in the UK, kind of just live this existence where I'm getting through, making some money, living okay, and wishing I was the hero in my journey. Or you roll up your sleeves and you try it. One is pain by not acting on your dream.
Yeah.
And one is pain because you've entered a tough road, a road less traveled.
Right.
A lot of people wouldn't even bother. You will be humbled. You should be humbled, actually.
Yeah,
It should
you
be,
learn.
Yes. And I'm still learning.
Yeah.
Every day, minute of the day, you know, I'm still learning.
Yeah.
Me too.
You mentioned romanticizing your dream when you got here. What's that one local experience that, you know, kind of put a stop to all that? Like, because I feel like you went through something. You must have experienced that one thing that kind of said, you know what, I'm done. Okay, no, I'm done. But like, you know what, I get it.
The thing that comes to mind is when I'm dealing with suppliers and wholesalers, there seems to be all these hoops and things I have to jump through and ways I have to, for example, if I'm buying shoes, there's an amount I have to buy. There's a size range I have to buy. There's always some rules. Oh, this is how we do it here. Sometimes I just want to buy a sample size and figure something out.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, no. You know, it's a hostile buying environment, especially for me. They don't like me. They don't want me there. They don't want me in the marketplace. It's what it feels like anyway. Now,
why do you think that is?
I mean, first of all, most people perceive me as just a white person in their country, sleeping with their women. You know, taking
you know,
this is the accusations I get.
Yeah.
One day I was on a border with Medina. The whole way the guy was talking to Medina in Uganda. And Medina was like, well, you know, the guy was saying how much he hated me for being in the country and sleeping with you know, taking our women and all this stuff. So they've got a preconceived idea of who I am and what I'm doing here. And they have no idea who I am and what I'm doing here.
Yeah, I get it.
You know, so we're dealing with all of that. I lost track of what the overall question was there.
Yeah, no, the one experience, but you talked about how the buying process is just very unkind.
So when I'm now the seller and wholesalers want to come to me, they're like, but they don't want to jump through any of my hoops. So like they want it their way when I'm buying. They want it their way when I'm selling. They want their price when I'm buying. They want their price when I'm selling. And they don't need me actually. So they can deal with me any way they want. You know, I have a unique product. No one else has my product.
True.
Doesn't matter. They would rather, for whatever reason, I have my speculations, not buy off me unless I do exactly the way they want it, exactly the price they want. They don't want to credit me for whatever the value add I've put on the product or whatever. So, you know, I bump heads with these guys and, you know, I'm like, I don't have to deal with this. I don't have to deal with you, you know?
Yeah. You know what? I feel what you're feeling because I feel like most people kind of go through that. You know, when someone doesn't like, when you said you feel like they don't welcome you or they don't like you, that's why they do what they do. It kind of made sense. But I would have assumed like you would get some sort of privilege, no offense, but like to us, you're light skinned. So I thought going into the market, you're getting some privilege. I'm very surprised, by the way, that they're treating you like this.
Privilege is a double-edged sword. So I might get some extra play in a particular scenario. It works against you in another scenario, right? Yeah. So your privilege wouldn't work where mine would, but it would work in another scenario. Yeah. So like you can go in and speak local language. They like you more because of that. Or one of the things that I struggle with is bartering. Right. So it's like a game that they enjoy. Right? And they're friends afterwards. I'm fuming. I'm like,
how dare
you? You were trying to take me for an extra 30%. You came at me to steal money out of my pocket rather than give me value. So I get angry and emotional. And afterwards, Medina might step in or something, and we made the deal, and they're like, my friend again. I'm I'm like, no. Like, I want straight business, but that's just not the culture.
Right.
So privilege, you get privilege, but sometimes it works totally the other way. Yeah. So, I think privilege is in the eye of the beholder, maybe something, I don't know how to describe it.
Like what you just said was so true. There was a brand we were about to work with. You know who I'm talking about too, right? And so, we had a particular event. We have many of them. They came out, and it was the same agency that we had worked with before. And of course, and what you're saying is so true, because when we came to the agency, we were just trying to just like impress them to work with them, because it fit really good with the Pan African Dating Show. And we had no follow. You were at that meeting, right? We had absolutely no following at the time, so we didn't have much leverage. So they treat us like shit even then. So a year and a half later, we have much more following. They're a little bit better, and again, we didn't really need their money. We just wanted the opportunity. And again, whenever they want you to do something, and we let them come to our event for free.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that you let them come to your event for free, right?
Right.
It's whatever they need you to do at that point. And if you're going to say no to that, it's like, oh, okay, so you didn't jump at what we wanted you to do.
Right.
So now let's blackball you as much as we can in the industry.
Right.
And so to me, I say, fuck you. I'm just going to be honest.
Right.
That's my response.
Right.
So I'm from the fucking West Coast. We don't play that shit. And what I've noticed is that is the only way they can honestly do better.
Right.
Is because if you ever just like, first of all, I've seen these guys come from Nigeria, these other countries, Burna Boy. There is no way that Burna Boy, and obviously I'm not Burna Boy, right? But you cannot ask him to come to Uganda and not meet his demands.
Right.
You're gonna do everything that he says, or you're gonna.
Yeah.
So I figure like, okay, if I'm not to the point where I can get my demands to where I want it to be, no matter how good I think I am, the reality is I'm not as good as I think I am.
Right.
So that's something that I have to internalize. Yeah, I know what I think is important, but obviously it's not that important to get what I need. So then what do I need to do to get to that level where they have to comply? And I think that's so important for those people wanting to come. You're coming from America, the UK, and you guys are coming to a small market like Rwanda or Uganda, or a smaller market like Kenya. You're competing for less resources, and more people are powerful here who run those industries. Yes. And you have one agency can block you from everything in a place like this. Yeah. So now you have to make sure that you can be so good at what you do that somebody has to comply, or else. Yeah. And if you're not there, it's just showing you that you have a lot of work to do. And that's what I had to accept. Like, oh, okay, I just need to keep trying. I just need to keep trying. I just need to keep trying.
Right.
And you can get fed up about it if you want. But like you said, they want what they want when they want. And then for you, they want to overcharge you.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to paying you, it's a slap in the face.
Yeah.
And then, and they'll play the victim a lot too. Like, oh, why are you so angry with me? Right, and it's like, what are you talking about? You're a scammer. Like, bro, like, what do you mean?
Right. For that privilege, do you think they want to give me a discount, or do you think they want to overcharge?
Probably overcharge.
Standard.
Yeah.
Standard. So I get worn down by paper cuts here. Many, many points in the day, I have to go through some of this rigmarole. Like, I need to go to the shop. Okay, the border guy is going to try and overcharge me. The person in the market is going to, try and overcharge me.
Yeah.
We buy from a couple of local butchers. Medina usually buys everything because I hate the process.
Yeah.
But then there's times when I'm there, can you pick this up, whatever. So Medina will say, tell them this, tell them this, tell them this. She's trying to close off all the chances they have. So one time she was like, buy meat, tell them don't put extra fat, make sure it weighs a kilo or whatever it was, right? And so I was like, right, they're not gonna bump me. I know the price, I know the thing.
Yeah.
I'm telling them this. When I got the meat home, it was all bones. Like they gave me.
Whoa!
Medina was like, there's no meat on this. It's like all bones. I didn't really.
You didn't know.
Yeah. So the first time it was all fat.
Yeah.
You know, so we try to close that off and it's all bones.
Yeah.
So just think about that. Like, that's like a daily kind of interaction you're having all the time. And I have to, first of all, manage my blanket judgment because not everybody is out for my head.
Right.
But, you know,
it's enough.
It can feel like that sometimes.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then in business, I'm taking on higher stakes negotiations than meat. So where are people trying to get over on me? So I've got my spider sense up for all of that, you know. And I've lost money just off deals here. Just people have found a way to get around me, fix up whatever. So those are all challenges. Those are all things.
Yeah.
But I'll go back to what I said at the beginning. I'm living my dream, guys. Right. So eventually,
don't lose hope.
Eventually, you like what you said about getting so good.
Yeah.
You get to a place where either they need you so much or you don't need them at all. And then the only people that interact with you are people that bring value, want to work with you, want equal parity and all of that stuff. And every so often I come across a person like that.
Right.
And it's fantastic.
Yes.
You know, and you work with them, whatever. You
definitely don't get parity here at all. Yeah. A brother told me that Baker, I interviewed a guy by the name of Baker Kabanda. His brother owns this restaurant there. After Bugalobi, there's what?
Zone something?
Huh? Zone 7.
Yeah, Zone 7.
Shout out to him.
Yeah.
Smart brother. I don't want to mention his name right now, but he said, listen, brother, the problem with you is you expect parity. That's why you're frustrated. You're not going to get parity here in Africa. And every blue moon, I'll stop by and say hello to him and everything like that because he's a wizard. And that's important, what you're saying, because so many people think you're going to get parity. You're going to romanticize it. And again, you do find good people like that. But, you know, the whole idea is, you know, I was watching Colin and Samir, the YouTube content creators.
Yep.
And they said something that was very important, that what defines your brand is what you're willing to say no to. And I was like, oh, shit, holy shit. Like, I never thought about it. But that's definitely true. Yeah. And so we had a deal on the table for a very big brand in East Africa. And I told them to f off. And if they're watching, this is what it is. I mean, they watch the podcast. I told them to fuck off. And the reason why is because, first of all, and I think a lot of the foreign businesses that are coming here into this market, these guys have the money and things like that, some of them. But it's just like, oh, you need to comply or else. Or else what?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? And if you don't stand up for yourself, they're gonna like the one thing you don't want to do is move to Uganda and become a fucking victim. That's the one thing you don't want to be here, is a victim. Because if you come to Africa and become a victim, it's the worst, death by 1,000 cuts.
You mean by victim mentally or by actual you're victimized?
Victimized mentally, however it is. Because like once people smell blood here,
oh man.
You know what I mean? And one of the best things that I've been able to do, I had a guy one day, Storytime Music. There was a guy. His name was, what was this guy's name? This guy's name was Sean. Okay, he'd been coming into my office asking for some free. He was like one of the video editing partnership, right? The guy lied and then tell me what he wanted. Man, I look at your production. I kicked a guy out of my office. The guy came back. He's like, yeah, I have this event happening here. I need to, whatever, right? So the guys go over there and we thought we were going to just videotape it for the guy. The guy was like, oh no, we're going to hire all of these dancers and actors and drummers. And the guy wanted me to pay for it, right? It was going to be like 25 million shillings, something like that, like almost $7,000. So I called the guy. I said, did you expect me to pay for this? He's like, well, you're sponsoring right over here. I said, mother, don't you ever come into my office again. I said, if you come to my office again, I'm going to drag you out on Entebbe Road. I'm going to dog walk you. Don't you ever fucking come. And he hung up. I sent him a message. I said, you little fucking liar. I said, if I ever see you come into my office again, I'm going to, like a poodle, like we're going to go walking down the street. And I never saw the guy again. And one of the things is here, like, you know, if you don't have that kind of attitude, you're gonna get screwed over. And I'm not saying everybody has to be as as me, but if you have a good business and a great business, you're gonna definitely lose if you become a victim.
Right.
So you might as well go down swinging.
Right.
You came this far.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear you on that. I think I wouldn't be as brash as you.
I am. I'm tired of y'all.
The only reason I say that is because sometimes people develop and they realize their ways are wrong. And if you haven't been final, I'm not saying sometimes you need to be final. You haven't been final with them. One day they may come back and you've left at least creak of a door open for a better opportunity. It doesn't happen often. Sometimes you do need to be brash. I guess it's not really my personality.
It's mine. For sure.
Yeah.
And it has kept scammers away. They don't even listen.
Right, that's
they
true.
don't even, you know that.
You're right.
They see shit, they run.
Yeah. They come for me.
Yeah. But you have Medina on your side.
And I'm learning.
Yeah.
I'd like to add another thing that is frustrating here is that I often hear a lot of people saying, well, this is Africa. This is how it works here.
Exactly. This is Uganda.
TIA.
The problem I have with that is there's many things here in Africa that are fantastic.
Exactly.
That can be exported, that can be used.
Right.
Both physical things and social and the way about you, the way you go about things, great. But there's also so much that Africa can learn from the way things are executed in other places. Things that can be executed so much better many times. And it's like saying this is Africa doesn't help you develop.
Yeah.
If you're just going to stay at the level you're at and you're not developing, you'd go, there's this idea that Shaolin Kung Fu, the monks would reach a certain level and they would try and find masters and other types of fighters and, see where, is there anything in their fighting style that they can learn from whatever? And then they bring it back to Shaolin and they incorporate it in their curriculum so that they stay evolving, they stay growing. I don't see that attitude here.
No.
I just hear, this is Africa. You can go back to your country.
This is Uganda.
This is Uganda. And it's like, that's not a growth mindset. And are we happy with being the bottom of the economic totem pole in the globe? Is that what we're happy with? Like, is the strategies that are happening here helping us develop? Or are we just proud to say we're African, but then everyone else is still just, executing far and above Africa? So where is the point where you say, how can I learn? How can I change? Most people I encounter have never stepped foot out of Uganda. And you're standing in front of someone that's been all over the world. Maybe they've seen something. Maybe they know something. They can learn something. You can learn and teach. And, not trying to say I know everything, but, at least I've seen some things. So when I put a suggestion forward or I have an idea or I say, can we do like this? The answer shouldn't be, this is Africa, this is how we do it here. It's like, okay, is there an opportunity to grow here? So I don't see that mentality enough.
And let me say, like, we're not trying to say this is everyone because, it's still young and evolving, but I would say some of the older people who are in some of these private sector companies and they have charge of things, they tend to be more, stuck on, people our age that are just grow up here. And you see it almost in every private industry. And that's why, I'm kind of glad that Kenganda is so young and I'm the oldest person that's there because like the ideas are innovating or they're coming. I'm like, oh, let's try this. Let's do it. Like let's do it now.
Right.
And without all the bureaucracy. That's what China does. China doesn't have so much bureaucracy. It's, okay, you want to do it? Let's do it now.
Right.
But that's the problem that I see with a lot of the business sector people. It's just not about how can I add more value to you as a client, whether it's B2B or B2C.
Right.
It's all like, okay, well, let me just take advantage of you because I can.
Right.
And if you come back tomorrow or not, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
Whereas for us, Like, we want that person to come back as an American or somebody from Britain. We want that person to have a good experience, to go and tell other people. And I'm not saying that you don't have Ugandans here in business that don't do that, because sure you do.
Yes.
But you just see that it's not as much as what it could be, and it's a lot of missed opportunities.
Yeah.
And so as foreigners, it causes you to be like, damn, man, I really don't, like, for example, I believe in 2023, we had a networking event. It was around this time last year, November. You came? Did you come?
I wasn't in the country.
You was in the country. Was Medina here? No. Zara was
there.
Yeah. So, and like at our networking event, it was some people that came, and it was like one guy that was like kind of creeping me out or whatever.
He was a subscriber. Was he not?
One of them may have been subscribers. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But there was a few guys that kind of creeped me out that day. And it had, in my honest opinion, like scammer vibes. You know what I'm saying? And so it kind of makes you not want to work with people. Like, as a foreigner, it makes you like, okay, if I meet this person, I mean, all around the world, second verse, same as the first kind of person.
Yeah.
However, here's what I want to push back on as we close. Is that I tend to like look at people and say that Uganda has as many good people as we're not giving people credit for that can do a lot of things. Like, I don't know how many times I drop money on the road. Somebody says, "Sir, pick your money up." And I think that a lot of times on our frustrations, we don't point out how great people are here, how much talent you have here and you can work with here. And we do understand that, but I just think that some of the systems of how things are, it makes it hard to want to be an investor here. You talked about Rwanda. They want to do Formula One.
Right.
And so now you're like, okay, well, if I can spend $100,000 in Rwanda, Kenya, or Tanzania or Uganda, now it's like, okay, Kenya is never going to have a coup, most likely. Rwanda is on its way up and it's more transparent. I can get a business license there. And so it's just like, it's more easier to do business in these places where you can get a lot more things done.
Right.
And it's just been so difficult here. And it's almost like, people don't even care.
Yeah. I think that the majority of people here are just good, hardworking people.
Definitely.
And they don't necessarily have the business acumen, the vision, the education to get or select a higher opportunity and go for that.
Right.
I made a video on my channel about hard work. Everyone here, well, not everyone, but a lot of people work hard.
Very many.
There's a lady, the example I put was there's a lady that sells us fruit and veg. I don't know what time of day or night you need to be, but she's there.
Yeah.
7 days a week, always there, always on her grind. But the size of her opportunity is only so much in that small market.
Yes.
What if she, or maybe now her daughter, could be directed with that work ethic to a higher opportunity?
There you go.
You could excel with that work ethic. Right. And that's the tragedy. Those guys that are, you said, like a kind of like stuck or they don't want to work with you, whatever. What happens is they become jaded as they rise.
Yes.
When they get to that position, they just look to benefit from the inefficiency.
Yeah, there you go.
And so you can't get in, you can't whatever. They're not expanding anymore. They're just drinking off. Like, it took me so long to get past all these gatekeepers.
Great.
Now I'm here. So I'm just going to do the same. I've learned that system. I'm going to do the same. And you haven't paid your dues yet to be where I am.
There you go.
And it works for the individual in the short term. But as a country or a continent, it doesn't speak to growth.
No.
And we need that growth. We need that mentality. When you meet a person like that, it's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're out there. Those guys are out there.
Let me just say this before. I know John wants to end this, but I watched a really good TED Talks on opportunity creators.
Right.
It was an older white lady. I don't know. It's one of the best videos I've seen on YouTube ever. And she was giving a talk about how people who are opportunity creators. She talked about a guy that was in prison. He just got out. He was a really good artist. He was in LA. And she created the opportunity for him to meet somebody to create this big mural on some like state building or whatever. And it went viral. It changed his life. It changed the other person's life. So you have somebody that was like a lawyer from Harvard, like now really big friends with this person that was come out of prison,
right.
and they created this opportunity to do so much things, and then it continued in all these people from like the city council taking pictures by the mural.
Right.
And when I looked at Africa or Uganda, and you look at most of the sub-Saharan African countries are struggling with this. Where are the opportunity creators? And you see like opportunity. I know people who are like jaded, like you said, right? And then you know what's so funny is we become jaded too,
right,
as the diaspora, and we come over to be maybe to learn as an opportunity for us to understand who we are as a people, to kind of relate. Then we become jaded. Like I'm jaded every day, and I have to like, okay, all right, get back to what you're supposed to be doing. But not everybody can do that. And so we want to tell people that Africa is beautiful, Uganda is beautiful, but understand that on your journey to trying to create the opportunity for yourself or for others, there is a jaded process in that. And there's a lot of bitter moments, a lot of bittersweet moments. But don't stop, because Africa has great people. You can do a lot here.
Yeah.
And you just need to continue to create the opportunity despite what everything else is going. And so I just want to just keep people just encouraged, because you would definitely need it when you get here. It's not easy.
Can I say something about that?
Sure.
That lady that you mentioned. So she created an opportunity for this guy.
Yeah.
Now, so she's helped that guy leapfrog.
Yes.
That guy can come back and create an opportunity for that lady.
Yes.
And it becomes this virtuous cycle. So we don't have that mechanism.
No.
If we are doing this gatekeeper kind of thing. So it's not that you'll get paid for that opportunity now. But when you help 5 people get in position, those 5 people will help you for the rest of their life.
Yep.
You know, and that's what we need here.
Yep. Yeah. Shout out to Kevin Samuels before we start.
Yeah. No.
Kevin Samuels, I gave him an opportunity when I was much bigger than him at the time.
Right.
And Kevin Samuels, and before he passed away, it was him who helped me buy my mama house. Literally by the content that he was allowing me to do. A guy that I had never met before. I just met him on the internet. And then when he became big, I was able to buy my mama house. It was my dream. So shout out to...
He always used to shout you out.
Yeah, and because of that,
right.
You know, he never gave me no money cash, but he called one. I tell you a story one time when he called and Joe answered the phone. Yeah, because Joe was talking shit about him.
No. But he was a great guy. He was nice to me when he was on the phone. So
yeah,
may his soul rest in peace.
He was a excellent worker.
Oh yeah, he was crazy.
It seems through the roof.
He was crazy.
Yeah.
He was doing the big.
Yeah. And I feel like that was a perfect way to end this episode. I don't want people to come here and say, oh, you guys just said the bad things and whatnot. They've given you the hope, you know, carry the dream and keep the fire burning, for lack of a better word.
But it's hard though, I'll tell you.
But keep it burning.
Keep it burning.
But TJ, where can they find you if they want to reach out to you?
The Subi Shop is the name of our YouTube channel. I'm trying to learn from this guy. That's it. Hold on.
Subi Shop.
I've got one more shout out. Medina has opened her first YouTube channel.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So she's helping Africans find love online, get married, not for like quick dating or whatever. So she's helping African girls find love, particularly with foreigners. Okay. So that's called Motherland Queens.
Oh, that's great.
Motherland Queens. Love
we'll share it.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah, and you guys met online too.
Yep.
Facebook?
No, it was just a dating app. I can't remember.
What's
African?
the name?
Yeah.
African, that one, yeah.
Afro what?
Afro Introductions. Wow, you want to go on there and see what you can do?
I want the people listening, and maybe they want to find
we've got a full episode on those dating apps on Motherland Queens, because just because it worked out for me, there are a lot of pitfalls on all of those dating apps. So we've got a whole episode breaking down, you know, because guys have got to protect themselves from scammers, and the girls have got to protect themselves from
scammers.
Right. So, yeah, it worked out for me, and we've got the blueprint on her channel.
Oh, perfect. Oshay, any last?
That's it. Hopefully I can bleep out these curse words. The editors won't miss the ones that I did this today. So
yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Till the end, please follow us on our social media pages at Kenganda Nation on all platforms, and follow me at Johnny Tamaya on all platforms. And I'll see you guys next time.